In the Lab, proudly sponsored by KitKat Cash and Carry.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Zaki Vika and you with us in the lab, empowering, inspiring and informing our viewers. Bullying is unwanted, aggressive behavior among school-age children and adults that involves a real or perceived power of imbalance. The behavior is repeated or has the potential to be repeated over time. Both kids who are bullied and who bully others may have serious lasting problems. Kids who bully use their power, such as physical strength, access to embarrassing information, or popularity to control or harm others. With us in studio today is Hasina Ali and Alima. She runs a girls' madrasa and most importantly, an anti-bullying specialist. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Walaikum assalam rahmatullah. Jazakallah for having me.
It's really a pleasure. So Hasina, right from the start, we all know it, but let's just reiterate and let's just say, what actually is bullying?
Okay, so let's just start from the top. That bullying is something which was always there. It's just that now it's more visible.
Yes.
Okay? And how we know that it always has been there is because it's been mentioned in the Quran. In Surah Humaza, Allah speaks about the bullies, and also in Surah Al-Hujurat, where He speaks about the traits. The people who gossip, the people who call people names. So it is something which has been there, and there are three characteristics basically of bullying. The first one being it is an imbalance of power. Right, because the bully wants to be in power. He wants to dominate, or she wants to dominate the whole area and the environment in which they are in.
All right.
Second thing is that it is intentional behavior. So the bully knows exactly what they are doing.
Okay.
All right, and it is repeated behavior. So if someone just maybe kicks you one time, they're just not being cool. Okay. But if it's ongoing, then that's what we call bullying.
Okay, so there's obviously different types of bullying. Can you just touch on that a bit, the different types of bullying? We can start off with bullying in kids and then quickly go through to the bullying in adults as well.
Okay, so there's quite a few different kinds of bullying, but the most common ones are physical bullying, right? That's the one that everyone can see. And when you ask people or kids basically what bullying is, they'll tell you when someone's kicking me, when someone's punching me. So that's physical bullying. And yes, it incorporates, kicking, punching, stripping, stealing, those kind of things.
Okay.
Then the second one would be verbal bullying, where you would say nasty things to each other, teasing, name calling. And it is also common among females. And emotional bullying. That also includes exclusion, when everyone's at school and kids say, I'm breaking off with you today, I'm not going to be your friend today, and things like that. So I think that's also an important one because people don't really regard exclusion to be a form of bullying. It actually is, and it's very hurtful, right? And then we have cyberbullying. Well, that's the in thing today.
Yes.
And cyberbullying is when someone says or rather posts something about you on social media that you don't want, something that's private, and with the intent of basically embarrassing you and,
harming your reputation.
Yes.
Okay. Hasina, what led you to become, I've seen your posts and your online social media account where you were an anti-bullying specialist. What led you to become this?
Oh, wow. Boy, you're taking me back now. So when I was younger, I was bullied myself.
All right.
And I think in the recent past years, that's when I just reached a place of healing. I'm like, you know what? I cannot be owned by my bullies, by people who hurt me, And so that's when I, went for causes and kind of self-healed, and I felt that if I'm going through this, if I'm experiencing this, there are many other people who are going through this. And alhamdulillah, I'm like, when I do the workshops, it's a healing every time I do it, and I think it's something which needs to be spoken about. So that's how I actually started on this journey.
Okay, so coming back to this bullying aspect, how, let's leave the physical part. Let's do the emotional part where people can't see it, right? Where and when does it happen? The emotional bullying specifically, like if your child came and said they're bullying, they don't have any physical marks or whatever, you're not going to believe it.
Yeah.
So where and when does this emotional bullying take place?
It happens anywhere and everywhere,
All right.
honestly. There's been so many, stories, and where kids come and speak to us, and we hear accounts of the bullying that they experience. And the hard part of this is because no one can see the effects. Someone
Yes.
kicks you, you come with the bruise and
Yes,
things like
yes.
that. But when you are emotionally bullied and you've been excluded, no one can actually see these things here.
Absolutely.
And these things can actually take place at family events, in outings, and even in school, in the classroom. And sometimes what happens is the teacher's not even aware because they're teaching and they do what they
Yes.
got to do,
Yes.
And that's when these things happen. I had an account once where these were kids in school, and every time this girl would go and maybe time to give her lesson, the girl sitting next to her would always kind of pinch her, and the victim now wouldn't be able to say anything.
Yes. Throw her off a game.
Yeah,
Yes.
And it carried on happening, over a long period of time. Hence, we say it's repeated behavior. To such an extent that this child became so sick because she would get so nervous, she would chew the lead of her pencil. And that actually caused for her liver to shrink.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
so
gosh.
when the doctor realized this, he asked what's going on? And she's like, no, nothing. He's like, no, there really is something going on. So you need to tell us. And that's when she divulged that, she's been bullied, and right in front of the teacher. So kids are so bold today, actually, that they do it right in front of you. And of course, it starts off verbal and then, physical and then also emotional. And it's very hard to overcome those sort of things,
Wow. So this is why has it in recent times escalated to such a state that we can't control it?
You know what? It's always been there. It's just that now because we have social media
Okay.
and I think we're living in a time where we feel that we're on top of the world, and we can do whatever we want to do, and like the pride and
Invincible, yes.
exactly, and the ego and things like that. So it has been there, yes. I mean, like when I was bullied, it was way back, but now it's on a higher scale because I don't know. The kids feel that I can do what I want to do, and you can't tell me anything. We're living in a democracy, in a free country, and these kind of things.
Are we as adults failing the kids, Hasina?
We are. We definitely are, because the values are taught at home. Just last week we had a workshop that we ran, and there was a parent there who's she was so heartbroken at what her child was going through. At the same time, like what the other panelists mentioned to her was that yes, the kids come to school, we have a responsibility, but our main responsibility is to teach these kids.
Yes.
Manners and respect are things which are taught at home.
Yes.
So these things of overspoiling our kids and all of that also basically it plays a part in
Tend to lead to this
Yes.
kind of behavior. So coming that it's from home. I recall from also past experiences where they said that bullying starts from the supper table.
Mm-hmm.
How do you talk about that?
Well, look at this, right? At home, what parents would say, I mean, we all parents and stuff, and I guess sometimes we also falter rather, and we make
Yes.
mistakes. And so when siblings bully each other, we
Okay.
tend to overlook it. It's just your brother, man, So I think us as parents, we
falter,
Yes, we falter, and we kind of make excuses. He's just playing, or boys will be
Ignore it,
boys, and
yes.
ignore it. And that thing of ignore it is actually such a big problem, because think for yourself as an adult, when someone's always coming at you, how long can you ignore it for?
Yes, true. And that's a little child. So how do they deal with that?
Exactly.
Another part to that statement about it starts at the supper table. We as mothers or as parents, we also gun other people, and then that's your child learning from you. Am I right? Does that happen?
Exactly. I mean, our kids look up to us.
Yes.
And they basically mirror everything that we do.
Absolutely.
And so if we don't correct wrong behavior, then kids think that it's okay.
My
And-
mom did it.
Yes, I mean, so which means it's okay.
Yes.
And I think also not reprimanding because we want to be the cool parents, we want to be, friends with our kids. But there should be a distinction that you're the child and I'm the parent,
Yes.
and we need to parent.
Yes.
That's what we need to
Yes.
do, and correct wrong behavior because it's part of our deen as well. Good akhlaq and having good manners.
Yes, absolutely. So I mentioned earlier on that it's escalated. Bullying has escalated because if you see these social media videos, you see them really physically fighting. I mean, there's knives and guns taken to school nowadays. Why is it so?
Oh, a number of reasons. Like I mentioned earlier, that everyone thinks that, I can do as I want. And no one can tell me. I mean, even the teachers themselves are being terrorized at school,
Yes,
by
yes.
kids that are coming with weapons and things like that to school.
Yes.
So I think, when we come to the bottom of it, the way I see it is that we lack humility as a ummah, as people. We lack humility because, I mean, the Armenia Hadith speak about, humility and knowing that the one who lowers himself for Allah, Allah will raise him.
Yes.
So the moment we start feeling proud, and that's also arrogance,
Yes.
because he, I don't know, doesn't wear the shoes that I like, and then
Yes.
I'm going to tease him for that.
Yes.
I mean, what makes us think that
We're superior.
Exactly, So I think it's a lack of humility and just being extremely proud and arrogant within ourselves, so that makes us feel and think that we can put people down for the way they look and how they speak and how they dress.
Because of this escalation, Hasina, when is it time to seek help?
The moment you feel uncomfortable, that's the time you should seek help.
But how are you going to know that as a parent? Because your child is obviously not going to open up to you. How are you going to?
So we go back to why aren't our kids comfortable speaking to us?
Yes.
Why can't your child come and say, I'm going through a really difficult time now and I need your assistance? So then again, we need to look at what are we doing as parents, So going back to your question, that the time when the child feels uncomfortable, because kids will take a while to come and tell you,
Yes.
or they won't tell you at all, right? So the time when the child feels totally uncomfortable, that's perhaps when they're going to come and, mention it to you. And we as parents should be able to see the telltale signs within our child. If you have a child who's an extrovert and they are no longer being their
Yes.
bubbly selves, you should ask yourself why. When your child doesn't want to go to school anymore, your child always complains of a headache, tummy ache, or the child starts wetting the bed, and which the child doesn't normally do. Well, we should be asking these questions, like what's happening, and go to the school. So the time to speak up is when you as the child feel that, you've tried, you ignored, and you've done everything that you think is okay for you to do. That's when you should speak to your parent or any adult who you have confidence in.
Okay. Hasina, what help is available out there?
Okay, so if you look at it in the school situation, right? So the first thing that the child should do, which is recommended, that they speak to their parents, okay? And then from there, the parents should take it up with the school, find out what policies do they have in place, in terms of anti-bullying and things like that. And if the parents get no joy there, take it to the Department of Education, take it to the Minister of Education until you get some results. So always speak up, never keep quiet, because if you're not going to speak up, it's going to be something which will continue and continue. So we need to take action, and there's organizations like Helpline and Childline rather, and on the internet there's a lot of places that a person can go to for assistance. So I think follow it up with the school and make sure that you do get the results that you are seeking.
Okay, but what I've known of what I've seen about bullying is that once you start to talk up, doesn't that further aggravate or the bully further, and then they go to deeper measures to bully you? Is that true, or do they get scared? Does a bully get scared?
Well, that is true. You are labeled a tattletale snitch,
yes.
But I have a firm belief that I cannot be owned by the bully. I mean,
Yes.
I'm not wrong,
Yes.
The bully is the one who's wrong. And I think that the more we keep quiet, that's the more power we give to the bully, So the bully also needs to know that the family knows and something is being done about it, the school knows.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's been hurtful all this time, and the bully has been bullying you. And I mean, I'm not saying that it's okay to take a little bit more, but you need to speak up. there's no way, and there's no way I can say that don't speak up about it.
Yes.
You know, and because the crux of the matter is that the bully also needs help. That's why he's bullying.
He's going
Yes.
towards that direction.
Yeah.
Hasina, because you've been through this and you've now healed and you've recovered, what are your final words of encouragement to the viewers out there?
Okay, I think I would use the words of the Prophet ﷺ, who said something to the effect that help the oppressor and the oppressed. And when the companions asked, like, we understand helping the oppressed person, but the oppressor, like, why? He says, you helping the oppressor is by helping him to stop oppressing.
May Allah take you from strength to strength, and may you be there to help us to get to a better place, inshallah. Well then, there you have it. Our end today was something to think about. If you have to hurt others to feel powerful, you are an extremely weak individual. Catch us next week on Lodium Today for another great episode. Assalamu alaikum.
Watch our episodes on YouTube and subscribe to our profile. Also, stay in touch on Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram, and we'll keep you up to speed with topics coming up next week. Don't miss an episode.